Hello, LegendAqua here. So, by the video title, I'm obviously doing a new project, that being going through the first impressions and episode reviews of Idolmaster U149. So, this episode will be a little bit different because the first and second episode came out in a weird time compared to JP time. So I'm just bundling the first two episodes together. So without further ado, episode 1 basically starts off with us looking at Arisu Tachibana, who is basically an up-and-coming idol, but she doesn't have a producer yet, or a group, or anything like that. However, we can already see that there are some signs that there's some bit of tension between her and her parents. Like, the thing is, for Arisu's parents, like, they're fine with her doing the idol stuff, but as a side gig, not as a serious endeavor, compared to Arisu, who wants to actually take this seriously. And this comes to a head when we meet our actual producer for U149, and this producer is basically a producer who has been in the industry for 3 years, but he hasn't done much within the Cinderella agency as much. He's just been doing stuff for 3 years. And the thing is, a lot of the other people who want this third division to, the fact that there's now a third division and everything, a lot of the support staff and the, back dealing kind of guys, the documentation kind of situation guys, they feel it's not going to work out, because considering the idols that they're going to be in for the third division is different, to say the least, namely young idols, and obviously the higher ups think that it's not going to work out. But because of this, the higher-ups basically said, okay, so here's this guy who's just had 3 years of experience within the Cinderella agencies. Why not just make him a producer and just leave him towards U149? So they do. And the phone conversation that the producer gets is actually rather funny in this instance, because it's just like, hey, you've been in this industry for like 3 years. Want to be a producer? Just flat out like that. But the producer, let's just say his taste in idols goes into the ara situation, because he does mention he wouldn't mind like producing idols for like Mifune-san in that instance. And obviously U149 is nothing like that. And when he comes across the fact that, yes, he is producing U149 and a bunch of these younger idols, I'm not gonna say he's against it. It's just more like he was just thrown into the situation. He didn't know what idols he was producing. He was obviously a little bit confused. I can kind of give that. On the other side, it's a little bit mixed on the idol side, because on the idol side, especially Arisu, because she was the most reluctant towards the new producer, namely because the producer wasn't taking it seriously, because he himself, towards the younger producers, younger idols, he didn't want to produce them, but considering the situation he was put in, and the fact that he loves idols, he just said, okay, fine, I will do it. But Arisu was kind of against it, because he wants a serious, older, mature kind of producer to take the entire thing seriously. Obviously, the other idols are kind of not against it, but have different beliefs on it, namely because this producer is the only other hope. They've been doing lessons for ages. They want to do actual idol stuff, and without a producer, they'll be stuck there. In other words, it becomes a no-choice situation. If the producer leaves, they'll be stuck doing idol work. If not, yeah, if they want to switch producers, it won't happen. So you can kind of see how this is an underdog story in a kind of sense, not just for the producer, but for the younger idols and U149 in general. So that for a first episode was a it's a classic idol trope, but the fact that the producer himself does actually, you know, even though it's not the idols he wanted to produce, he will still want to, you know, produce the idols, make them shine, no matter what. He loves idols. It kind of makes sense. His taste in idols are completely different towards the ones he's producing, but still, that dynamic is actually there. Arisu obviously is the most adamant not to, but with the final scenes of the first episode, she does kind of open up to him, kinda, and because of that, yeah, episode 1 was finished in that sense, and we do kind of see that, yes, the producer does have drive and a bit of passion towards the idols to actually, you know, make the idols shine in that kind of sense, and I do get that. Because of this, you can kind of see that the first episode was veered towards Arisu in the sense, because she was the main focus from the first couple of scenes, and then we bounce back to the producer. So yeah, the first episode was actually pretty decent for what it was, for an opening premise, opening idols, showing us all the idols that there were, and some other dynamics going on, especially towards Arisu, who wants to take the job seriously, and the producer, a rookie producer who doesn't know what he's doing, but he wants to try at the same time. Classic underdog story. Episode 1 was actually nonetheless decent for what it was. Episode 2 goes into the more character focus episodes, and the character in question becomes Nina's focus episode. And basically, I will touch on this a little bit later, but let's just say that Arisu's situation and Nina's situation is kind of similar, namely because, again, like what I told in the episode 1 impressions, which was basically, you know, again, Arisu wants to be taken seriously, not just towards her producer, but towards her parents. Nina is sort of similar towards her focus episode. It's namely because at the start, it was basically her losing her kirigurumi, basically the stuffed animal thing, and basically we go on a wild goose chase just to find where the missing stuffed animal is. However, we do get a cameo in this sense. Actually, not just one, two. If you can tell by these pictures, I think you know who they are. And really, the entire situation with Nina, for the focus episode that we got with her, it is, again, has a bit of, you know, connections towards Arisu's situation. Because why Nina's so clingy and obsessed towards her kirigumis / stuffed animals is because she's like, you know, she's friends with everybody, she wants to make everybody happy. In that sense, she feels that if she doesn't wear the stuffed animals or the kirigumis, she feels that nobody's gonna be together and be happy. It also doubles down because her parents are never with her. Like her father's overseas, her mother's working every day. She doesn't get to see them. So the only other way that she sees herself to, you know, make everybody happy, because everybody smiles when they see Nina in these kirigumis and stuffed animals, that's the connection they make. And obviously, the connection that we see is towards Arisu, because Arisu's situation with her parents is sort of similar towards Nina's in that way. So I do like where that connection went. Like, especially with Arisu's reactions towards Nina's parental situations. You can kind of see that. On the other hand, I do love that there was, a cameo right from the second episode in the form of Shiki and Federica. And yeah, Shiki and Federica were being utter trolls, I'll say, but I do feel like this is kind of what Shiki does, namely because she wants to experiment in ways, sort of like maybe test out Nina. I'm not too sure what she was doing in this episode, to be honest, but it felt like they were testing her, especially with a new producer as well as Nina. So, nice cameo as well. And I'm expecting more cameos as well, because this is Idolmaster and everything. I did forget who was actually animating Idolmaster U149, and that is Cygames Animation. If you don't know Cygames Animation, well, they've done the previous Cinderella girls, but... Oh no, sorry. Not the previous Cinderella girls, that was A1 Pictures. They've done Princess Connect animation, and the director, Manabu Okamoto, was actually a series director for ReZero. So you can kind of see that this series is in good hands, because I've heard that Manabu Okamoto does get extremely detailed oriented, and he loves the series that he gets attached to. In my opinion, with the first 2 episodes, he does show that a lot. Not just in the animation details and the directing focus, like the different angles and everything. Not only that, it's because I have skimmed through some of the manga of U149. You'll know why I skimmed through them, but basically, Manabu Okamoto and the anime basically fleshes out a lot of the chapters way more detail. So I will definitely give the anime that, because they do flesh out a lot compared to what the manga panels showed off. So that is definitely something. Not to mention the homages, obviously the cameos of Shiki and Federica was also one of them as well. So it's going to be interesting going forward. Will I be continuing to look at Idolmaster U149? Yeah, in my opinion, I will. It's not only for the cameos, because seriously, Makino Yagami, please make a voice cameo. Makino Yagami, please make a voice cameo. But not only that, U149 carrying on the Cinderella Girls installments and everything in a different light. It is kind of interesting. Again, not to mention the director, the animation studio behind it all. I'm still interested, so I'll be definitely going to do some more weekly reviews of U149. I will say one last thing, and this is going to be a game to anime marketing synergy that's been going on right now, because if you guys don't know about Derusute that's going on right now, there is the Cinderella Girls U149 basically has an event within Derusute, and certain banners are coming out that are focused on the character of the week. In this case, episode 2, which was Nina. This is happening as well. There's a little bit of synergy going on right now, isn't there? So, on the game front, you can kind of see that Derusute is also hyping up U149, so I do like that bit of synergy right there. So yeah, that will do it for me for my episode 1 and 2 first impressions of U149. Comment below what you thought about the first 2 episodes and let me know. With that, that'll do it for me. LA out and see you next week.